Status will always be debatable. There is zero doubt about one thing. He's the most scrutinized NBA player ever. From the time LeBron was 16 years old, he was dealing with enormous expectations.
LeBron James has captured the attention of fans, scouts, and opponents.
Nobody endured more media pressure, and nobody had so many of their jerseys set on fire. And unfortunately, that scrutiny spills over to everyone around him. Having LeBron on your team is great, but it comes with tons of pressure because you are immediately expected to win. And if you don't, you're torn to pieces.
Honestly, it's a gift and a curse with playing with Bron. Like, I love Bron to death. I love playing on this team because for me, I feel like I thrive more under the pressure. But a lot of guys don't like it because, so it's always going to be that supporting cast of who's not doing what or who, and if you're not built for that, you're not made for that, it's going to eat you alive.
And while a lot of difficulties of having LeBron on your team comes from the fans and the media, some of it comes from LeBron himself. Coaches getting fired, cryptic tweets aimed at management, and the danger of getting traded by Le GM are always a possibility when the Kings' expectations are not met. But are the downsides of playing with LeBron greater than other superstars? Is James really a bad teammate? Or does this just come with the territory of playing with an all-time great? Well, it depends on who you ask and who you compare him to. Michael Jordan once punched Steve Kerr in the face during practice. Kobe was constantly berating his teammates if they didn't perform and refused to pass them the ball. Shaq wasn't really a sweetheart either. These guys were not saints. Yet people rarely questioned their teammates' skills because people from that era didn't care about teammates being nice to each other. And those anecdotes of heated practices only fueled the legend of Kobe and MJ as perfectionists and basketball killers. But when it comes to LeBron, everything is under a magnifying glass, especially after the decision. During his first stint in Cleveland, LeBron was universally loved by everyone.
Lewis gets it to LeBron for three for the win. Yes! LeBron James at the buzzer!
And he was viewed as a savior for the city that hadn't won anything in over 40 years.
I always let LeBron know they love you right now. They love you right now. But please believe me, the first incident, the first time something happened, they are waiting, man. They're waiting, man. They're waiting, man.
But as seasons went on and a championship wasn't won, the first haters started to appear.
He's the fake MJ. He can't stand up to the pressure. The higher the expectations, the worse he performs.
And then, when the King decided to take his talents to South Beach,
in this fall, man, it's very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
It was like he opened the gates of hell. Within seconds, he went from one of the most loved to one of the most hated athletes on the planet.
There's no way that you could possibly prepare for something like this.
And it all coincided with the invention of the smartphone, the rise of social media, and the popularity of the debate shows. The NBA news cycle was running 24/7, and the main target was LeBron. The 2010-2011 Miami Heat were arguably the most hated team of all time. And the Kings' first game back in Cleveland was complete horror.
I would never forget the Cleveland game, the first time we went back to Cleveland. And that was the time where I looked at LeBron and I was like, hey, this guy's he's not normal. He's really not normal. I've always said it, but I really felt it. But the hatred that I heard in the locker room, and it wasn't just boos and it wasn't just I hate you, it was the look on people's faces. It was the things that was coming out of their mouths and like how raged they were, like in anger, that I said, I will never forget this moment in day in my life.
For the first time ever, it seemed like LeBron wasn't equipped to deal with the pressure, and his unhappiness led to one of his first Le GM moves. After the Heat went 9-8 at the start of the season, LeBron didn't trust their young and inexperienced coach, Eric Spoelstra, and the King wanted him gone. James went into Pat Riley's office and asked the Heat's president if he would fire Spo and take over the team, but Riley refused, believing that Spo was the best guy for the job.
We got a great young coach here, and I want to support him. Hope that he can grow like I did.
And on top of getting booed in almost every arena, and James questioning the coach's authority, LeBron's teammates had to get used to the fact that every bad pass, every missed shot was overanalyzed. Professional trolls such as Skip Bayless are something that athletes have become accustomed to now. But back in 2011, this was still viewed as serious journalism and something that should be addressed. Bayless kept calling Chris Bosh Spice, and it got so bad that Chris even went on Bayless's show to confront him.
My thing is, my family, we take a lot of pride in our name. I don't like it being made fun of.
Bosh used to dominate the paint and was a 20-10 guy on the Raptors, but when he teamed up with LeBron and D-Wade, he was forced to adjust and play in a limited offensive role, which is not easy for a star player. Still, the Heat made the 2011 finals, but LeBron played the worst basketball of his career.
Shot clock down to 7. James, that's a travel.
To the delight of Skip Bayless and all the online haters. And as the pressure mounted, some of his teammates started to feel the wrath of LeBron. And nobody had it like Mario Chalmers. Rio was a constant target of LeBron's yelling. And it seemed like as soon as he made any mistake, LeBron would yell at him or raise his arms in disbelief. But Chalmers wasn't the only one who needed to adapt. Bosh and Wade had to change their game the most, completely transforming to adapt to LeBron. And thankfully for the Heat, it worked. After 2 consecutive titles, the pressure decreased. They weren't booed anymore, Chalmers wasn't yelled at all the time, and nobody was calling them bums on a daily basis. However, as soon as the Heat lost in the 2014 finals, it all came back with a vengeance, and Bosh and Wade were called washed up after only one bad series. And that's the burden of playing with LeBron. If you're not shooting the ball well for 2 or 3 games, it's enough for people on social media to start calling you a bum and saying you can't play. And while Bosh and Wade were all-stars accustomed to criticism, some of the younger players had never had that type of attention before LeBron's arrival. The LeBron James effect multiplies everything. And while your social media following may increase tenfold because you made an alley-oop to LeBron, so will your haters. But after 4 finals appearances in Miami, LeBron decided to right the wrong, vowing to bring a championship to Cleveland. And before he even announced that he was returning to the Cavaliers, the GM was already in full effect. I'm excited to lead some of these talented young guys. I think I can help Kyrie Irving become one of the best point guards in our league. I think I can help elevate Tristan Thompson and Dion Waiters. You'll notice that LeBron never mentioned Andrew Wiggins or Anthony Bennett in that PR statement, and that's because he already knew they would be traded for Kevin Love, a move orchestrated with his blessing. However, when the 2015 season started, the Cavs struggled the same way the Heat did when LeBron arrived. The new pieces had to get accustomed to playing together, especially Dion Waiters and Kevin Love. Waiters never figured out how to be effective without the ball, and he got traded very early in the season. Love wasn't in tune with LeBron both on and off the court, and that's when James posted one of the most infamous cryptic tweets of his career, aimed at K-Love. But other than the misfit with Love, LeBron also never got on the same page with head coach David Blatt. Throughout the season, James was the one who called timeouts and made substitutions. He openly barked at Blatt after decisions he didn't like. He huddled frequently with assistant coach Ty Lue, often looking at anyone other than Blatt. Still, despite all the turmoil and the injuries to Kyrie and Kevin Love, LeBron was by far the best player in the league. And other than Durant, nobody was even near his level. The Cavs made the finals, and surprisingly, they even won 2 games with Timofey Mozgov and Matthew Dellavedova as some of their key contributors. But even with 36, 13, and 9 from LeBron, the Warriors had too many weapons, and they finally overcame the shorthanded Cavs in 6 games. After that loss, both LeBron and the Cavs knew they needed to make some moves. First, they fired head coach David Blatt mid-season, despite Cleveland having the second-best record in the East. But Blatt had no authority over LeBron, who openly disrespected and disobeyed him, while Blatt kept silent. Eventually, he lost the locker room and had to leave. In his place came Ty Lue, who was LeBron's guy all along, and who James wanted to become the head coach for months. And while the GM David Griffin wasn't especially keen on trading for Iman Shumpert and J.R. Smith, LeBron gave him the assurances that he would keep J.R. in check. On top of the superstar power LeBron already had, at the time, he made an unprecedented habit of signing one-year deals. All athletes wanted the long-term security of a multi-year deal, but LeBron wasn't all athletes. Like a queen on the chessboard, the king was controlling and manipulating everything, deliberately signing shorter deals to give him flexibility, earn him more money, and, maybe most importantly, give him leverage. At any given moment, LeBron could say that he didn't want to stay in Cleveland, and that he'll leave as a free agent again. The threat of him leaving was such a powerful tool that GM David Griffin had no choice but to make moves like LeBron wanted. And at first, it proved to be a good thing. The GM got it right, because both J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert played key roles in the Cavs' route to the championship after they became the first team to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the finals. But after the 2016 finals, LeBron signed another one-year deal with a player option, and he had more demands for his GM. He first pressured the team to sign Tristan Thompson, and later J.R. Smith to long-term deals. His stranglehold on the Cavs resulted in them forking over more than $130 million to pay Thompson and Smith, which hurt the team tremendously. Thompson averaged just 7 points and 8 rebounds in the 3 seasons after receiving his extension. And after averaging 12.4 points for the Cavs in the 2015-16 season, Smith recorded just 8.4 points per game in his next 2 years with James. And after they lost the 2017 finals to the Warriors, Kyrie decided to leave because he didn't want to live in LeBron's shadow. The Cavs quickly traded him for an injured Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder, in a move that LeBron was never happy about. To make it up to the King, the Cavs also added Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose, but neither of those moves really worked. So, at the 2018 trade deadline, trying desperately to improve the team and please their superstar, the Cavs spent several draft picks and mortgaged their future, as nearly half the roster got traded. And even though LeBron did his part on the court, playing maybe the best basketball of his entire career during the playoffs,
James up and under, throws it off the backboard. Oh, what a perfect pass!
they couldn't get past the Warriors in the finals. JR forgot the score in Game 1.
Hill misses. Rebound goes to the Cavs. J.R. Smith brings it back out. Throws it to Hill. Hill shot blocked.
And LeBron's 51-point game had gone to waste, after which it was clear that this team was already past its peak. LeBron had pretty much held the franchise hostage for years, with the unstated threat that he might leave, and as a result, the Cavs made desperate, short-sighted decisions. Then, to add insult to injury, in the offseason, LeBron left Cleveland again, relocating to LA. And when he got to Hollywood, LeBron put on his GM hat yet again. For the entire 2019 season, LeBron knew the Lakers wouldn't contend for a title, and the entire time the King had been flirting with Anthony Davis, sending cryptic messages through the media and on Twitter. The locker room vibe was noticeably off, because Bron's teammates knew they could be getting traded at any moment. Also, the King's engagement on the court had been below par, especially on defense, where his effort and body language was disgraceful at times. At one point, Kyle Kuzma had to push LeBron to play defense.
See what they get. Gallo in and out.
In what was a perfect example of a spoiled and uninspired superstar and the microcosm of the entire Lakers 2019 season. But then, the GM finally got what he wanted, and Anthony Davis was traded to the Lakers. And just like that, LeBron started playing defense and his body language improved. In their first season together, LeBron and AD led the Lakers to a championship, and the best general manager amongst players was proven right once again. However, James would soon make the biggest mistake of his GM career. After injuries to both AD and LeBron knocked them out of the 2021 playoffs, the Lakers felt they needed a roster upgrade. And even though they had the best defensive backcourt in the NBA in Alex Caruso, KCP, and Dennis Schroeder, they decided to move them all to acquire Russell Westbrook, because LeBron wanted to play with him. Russ on the Lakers proved to be an abomination.
Russ, nearly loses it. With 5, with 4, Russ drives. It's underneath, and the Lakers are gonna lose it.
He took the ball out of LeBron's hands, killed floor spacing, and played the worst defense the NBA had ever seen from the highest-paid player. During the 2022 trade deadline, LeBron took a shot at GM Rob Pelinka for not making any moves by praising other general managers. But it wasn't like Rob could really do anything. Westbrook's contract was untradeable, and the Lakers missed the playoffs, after which coach Frank Vogel lost his job. Fast forward to the 2023 trade deadline, when the Lakers were heavily linked to Kyrie Irving, who was seeking a trade out of Brooklyn. But after Irving signed with the Mavs, James posted 3 words that were aimed at Los Angeles' inability to get the deal done for Irving. Then, after a year and a half, the Westbrook saga and suffering was finally over, and Rob Pelinka produced a miracle that actually made the Lakers into a title contender. However, during the 2024 deadline, LeBron was at it again, posting subtle and not-so-subtle messages. By tweeting an emoji of an hourglass on January 30th ahead of the February 8th trade deadline, he created another tsunami of rumors. Does James want to be traded? Is he twisting the Lakers' arm to make a big move? Is he implying he might opt out of his $51.4 million player option for the 24-25 season? Unbothered, James seemingly enjoyed the drama. When asked if he wanted to clarify the tweet, he simply said no, because James is the king of using cryptic messages to his advantage. In fact, just a few days after his hourglass tweet, James poured gas on the rumors, responding to a tweet of an apple emoji with a crown and the Statue of Liberty, leaving people wondering if he wanted to play for New York. Then he wore a Knicks towel in a post-game interview the next day. But unlike the previous years and past GMs, Rob Pelinka didn't want to budge and tether around LeBron anymore, For better or worse, LA didn't make a single trade at the 2024 deadline, deciding to keep their assets for the future.
If you can handle, LeBron coming to your team, then it works out for you and it can be successful. The problem is that everybody can't handle it. When LeBron comes to your team, there's winning expectations. Ain't no 4 or 5 year process. Ain't none of that. The pressure is on, and if y'all don't win, he ain't the one that's gonna be out of there. It'll be you.
During LeBron's career on 3 different teams, the organizations have traded 118 players and first-round picks, which is a whopping 83 more than Michael Jordan. Some of it is due to longevity, as LeBron has played 5 seasons more than Jordan did. And some of it comes down to the modern age, where picks and players are traded much more frequently. But like any great player in NBA history, LeBron will do whatever it takes to win. He puts his teammates on the biggest stages of their career and gives them every opportunity to be great.